Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. So I'm going to be responding to a lot of comments from our friends the Angry Muslims. Doing them one at a time isn't really all that efficient when I'm getting so many, and they're all saying the same things. So I'm going to break it into little section points, and the first one is going to be, unfortunately, dear pissed off Muslims, this is a hard truth for you that you're going to have to accept. Throughout all your protestations and whinging and moaning to me, all your racist, angry comments, you have demonstrated a complete void of wisdom, of knowledge of your own scriptures. How is it that I, a Western infidel, ethnically Jewish Christian from Britain, the colonial empire of Britain, I'm supposed to be the most evil, stupid guy according to Allah and you, how is it that I know your Quran way better than you do? Not only do I know it, I've actually read the Arabic one and translated it into my language accurately. None of you can say that. None of you have even read the English one. How do I know this? Because your comments reveal so much stupidity. It's like you're just making it up as you go along, like someone was berating me, left about 50 comments that I just immediately blocked and deleted, spamming this point that at no point in the Quran does Mohammed stone a monkey to death for not following Sharia. It's in there. Do you think I just made that up? Like, what kind of a warped mind would you need to make something like that up? Unless you were Mohammed, who was the guy who did make it up. So obviously it didn't really happen in real life. But it's in the Quran, so you have to believe it if you're a Muslim. So the fact is, Mr. Angry Dawa Muslim who doesn't believe that Muhammad stoned a monkey to death, A, you're an infidel because you haven't read the Quran and you're spreading a false doctrine by saying it's not in there, and B, you're about to get a rude awakening when you go off and find that part and read it and realise it is in there. Like, how do you not know what's in your book when you're coming to me, whinging and moaning and calling me names? You have no right to talk. Go away and learn your book properly, you stupid, angry idiot. Right, so that's point one. Mohammed does stone a monkey to death for not following Sharia. Go and find the part in the book. And if you need a guide, also Christian Prince has done a video on it previously where he reads out the part of the Quran that is in. If you don't like it, leave Islam. That's Islam. If you don't believe that, you don't believe the Quran, you're not obeying Allah, you're an infidel, you're a bad Muslim. Leave if you don't like it. So that's point one. Point two. You're whinging about the Torah. Various moaning and whinging about the Torah. Why don't I read the Torah? Why don't I quote the Torah? The Torah's this, the Torah's that. Talmudic Jews are the Talmudic Jews. Right. There's no such thing as a Talmudic Jew. No Jews primarily only read the Talmud. It just is not a thing. So that again proves your absolute lunacy and ignorance towards the religions which you would like to speak of in defense of your own religion. And by the way, let me remind you, even if Judaism was sacrificing babies and, doing nothing but evil, it still wouldn't make Islam any better. It still wouldn't make the Quran any less nonsense than it is. So why do I bring up your mistake of mentioning the Torah constantly? Well, for a start, you call it the Thorah. The H is at the end. It's not the Thorah, it's the Torah with the H at the end. So if you could spell words correctly and you read it, or you had any knowledge of it at all, you would know this. But that's not the important thing to remember. The important thing, O Muslim, to remember about the Torah, Allah claims he wrote it in Al-Baqarah. So if you don't think it's true, and you think the people who wrote it are evil, you're an infidel because you're saying Allah is a liar and is evil. But I agree with you, he is a liar and he is evil, and he didn't write the Torah despite claiming that he did. In Al-Baqarah and again in Al-Imran, he claims he gave it to Moses, but then in Al-Nisa, he claims he gave it to Abraham. Oh yeah, but then there's that bit where he mentions the Jesus son of Allah was the one who he gave it to. So even Allah can't agree. Who did he give it to and when? Because that's 3 separate accounts where he's given it to someone and nobody before that had it. But we know Abraham was alive first, so if he gave it to Abraham, he wouldn't have needed to give it to Moses or the Jesus son of Allah made up Jesus guy. If he gave it to Moses, then he wouldn't have needed to give it to the Jesus guy. And if he gave it to the Jesus guy, presumably you would have read it because it's recent. But we know none of those guys got it from Allah. Moses was the guy who got it from his God. But it doesn't matter because Allah told you he wrote it anyway. But you would know this had you read your own book. So once again we know from your ignorance and stupidity, O Muslim, you're an infidel, you don't know your own book, you don't know other people's books, you don't know my book, the Gospels, and you don't know factual history, which is where all this is proven out. For people such as yourself who have no faith and are just whinging because it's culturally okay for you to do that, and you will be punished if you don't. That's really the reason why you're this ignorant, but you're claiming that you're not. You want to put on the face that you know your own religion, because if you don't, your own brothers will punish you as an infidel. You'll get lashes and you'll get executed. Once again, whose fault is that? Is it mine? Is it the evil Jews? Or is it Allah? Answer that yourself. And that brings me to my final point. Some of the comments I get accuse me of being racist, Islamophobic, I'm discriminating, I'm persecuting, cry, cope, and all the rest of it. I'm just reading your book accurately. And if that is how you consider racism works, just someone reading your book who's not from your country, guess what? You're the racist one, brother, O Muslim. Because I bought this book and I bought the Arabic one and I've read Quran.com. All of these things are made in the West. So you're the racist one for assuming that just because I'm not an Arab-born Muslim, I'm not allowed to read them. And if I'm reading them, I must be wrong, unless I agree with your completely 100% wrong and assumptive dialysis of what is in there. Diagnosis, not dialysis. Your diagnosis of what's in there. So, in conclusion, you are an ignorant, uneducated fool, assuming your way through a host of holy books which you have never read and probably have no intention of reading, and the end result for you, O brother Muslim, is you are stupid and you are wrong. And in terms of Allah, you are an infidel. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say. Please review your life choices and make some better ones in the future. And that's the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and you learned something. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Dear oh dear, I was going to say talking to you guys is like talking to a brick wall, but you know, a brick wall has strength, which is something you don't seem to have. So anyway, hopefully you will go away and educate yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Bye bye bye.